Oops, it's not 6. All right, so now, if I add my 6200ths plus 9400ths, I have one whole, and I also have, it's kind of hard to see here, but that is 5600ths, okay? I got 1 and 5600ths. See how that works? So I was adding up all my hundreds there, putting them all together to get my answer. Now, the way I would do this, if I was just working it out, because I'm not always going to have these models to work with, okay? I would just set it up like a regular addition problem, okay? But the important thing when you're working with decimals, make sure you line the decimals up. When you're adding decimals, you've got to make sure that the decimal points are lined up, okay? Are they lined up?
Yes.
Yes. So we can just add it like normal. 2 plus 4?
6.
6. 6 plus 9? 15. So I'm going to put a 5 there. Then I've got a 1 over here now in my
Undecimal.
ones place. Ones place. Because past the decimal, going to the left, 1 past the decimal is the ones place. So I've got 1 plus nothing is 1. Okay? And then I always got to put a decimal in my answer if I'm working with decimals. So I just still got to line them up, right? So I just put the decimal there. It's 1.56. This is just like you would normally add. Okay? This is just normal adding. It works the same way. The important thing is that you line your decimals up and you put a decimal in your answer. Okay? Because if it wasn't decimals, what would we be doing? We would be adding 62 and 94, and we'd have 156, right?
Yeah.
So it works the same way. It works the same way as if you don't have decimals. So, but here we do. Okay? But the important thing is always line up your decimals. Okay? And you do this when you add anyway. If you had a number that was like 170, 3-digit number, and you added it to a 2-digit number like 30, okay? You'd have them lined up, right? You'd have everything lined up correctly. Same thing with decimals. Lucy?
You would do that with money.
You definitely do it with money. And that's where it kind of makes it easier. It makes it easier to understand when you have money. So that's why, yeah, you can think of this as 62 cents plus 94 cents, right? And then so you're thinking, oh, that makes sense. I've got $1.56 now. That makes sense, all right? Well, it works the same way. It works the same way, all right? So let's try another one on your whiteboards. So if I had 41 hundredths plus 36 hundredths, and if I wrote it like that, okay? When we set it up like an addition problem, go ahead and write that. Go ahead and write that like it is. Okay. When I do that, I want to set it up like a normal addition problem, but I want to make sure my decimals are lined up. Okay. Make sure you line those decimals up. Okay? Got that? Go ahead and write it the way we would set it up. Okay? So then we just add. 1 plus 6.
7.
4 plus 3.
7. Dot.
Am I done?
No.
No, I'm not done. I gotta put my what?
Decimal point.
And I just line it up with what I've got here. I've got 77 hundredths. If this was money, it would be 77 cents. Okay? Alright, do on page 589, do number 2 on your whiteboard, on your own. Number 2. Question?
We have to estimate.
No, you don't need to estimate. No, I know it says that on the instructions. You don't need to do that. Number 2. All right, let me see him. All right, 9/10 is correct. Okay. Let's say one more. Number 3. Number 3. All right, let me see him. If I have 6/10, I'm going to add 2 and 5/10. That's where I want to make sure I line up my decimals. Okay, make sure I line up my decimals there. Okay. Then I add them up. 6 and 5, everyone. 11. So then I just look up here. Then I just carry my 1 up here. 1 and 2 is 3. Bring my decimal point down. It's 3 and 1/10. Okay? Alright. Let's go ahead and move on to the next lesson. Put these lessons together. And your homework will come from both. Because when we subtract decimals, we gotta think the same way. Okay? We're gonna subtract just like we normally subtract, and we'll just put in the decimals where we need to put in the decimals. Okay? So, if we had, write this on your whiteboard, 3 and 2/10 minus 1 and 8/10. So write that on your whiteboard. Remember, don't move ahead. Don't work ahead. Just write what I wrote on the whiteboard. All right. So I'm going to set it up like this, right? So I'm going to do 3 and 2/10 minus 1 and 8/10. Okay? And we're going to kind of ignore those decimals when we subtract. We don't really want to worry about them just yet. So go ahead and write this on your whiteboard. Include the decimals, but we're going to try to ignore them as we do this. Okay? Alright, so all together, can I do 2 minus 8?
No.
No, I can't do 2 minus 8. I've got to
Borrow.
borrow. So I'm going to change that. 2. 1 there. So now I've got 12 minus 8, which is 4. 4. And remember, always remember, you subtract from top to bottom. Subtract from top to bottom. A lot of times I still see people, they'll say 8 minus 2 is what they'll do. Don't do that. Don't do that. 12 minus 8 is 4. So then 2 minus 1, 1. My answer is 1 and 4 tenths. 1 and 4 tenths. That's what I should see on whiteboards. 1 and 4 tenths. Very good. Okay? Of course, you remember to put your decimal down. Let's do one more together. We have 84 and 63 hundredths. I'm sorry, thousandths. 84 and 63 thousandths minus 26 and 57 thousandths. Now don't let that frighten you. Those look really big. Those look really big, but we just follow the same pattern. Do it the same way. Okay? So now we write it like you would set it up. Make sure you line up your decimals. Okay. Go ahead and just have what I have on the board here. Okay. All right, so can I do 3 minus 7? No, I've got to borrow. So now 13 minus 7.
6.
I get 6. 5 minus 5? 0 minus 0?
0.
Okay. Can I do 4 minus 6?
No.
Nope. Gonna have to borrow. Okay. So 14 minus 6? 8. Okay. 7 minus 2? 5. Decimal point? Right there. Okay. I got 58 and 6 thousandths. You subtract just the same way. You subtract just the same way. Just don't forget to line your decimals up and put them in the right spot. On your whiteboard, let's do one practice. Okay. On page 591, do number 4. Number 4. And when I tell you, you'll do your homework, which will be page 589, 6 through 14, and page 591, 17 through 24. Page 591, 17 through 24.